You ever wake up thinking it's going to be just another day, and bam, your world's turned inside out because of some entitled neighbor with a god complex? Yeah, that was me. Imagine, 6:47 in the morning, I'm out there in my slippers, staring at the wreckage of my cedar fence. And what's hugging it like a bad tattoo? Brandon's BMW, wheels in the air, fluids leaking everywhere. Patricia, the infamous HOA president, still in her pearls, screaming at the cops about how I owe her son a new car because my illegally placed fence somehow leaped out and tackled his drunk self at 2:30 a.m. If you're picturing the kind of chaos where a woman is snapping photos of your mailbox instead of checking her own kid for a pulse, you're not far off. Patricia, with her death grip on HOA rules and her face always locked in that country club smile meets knife, was out here blaming me for her son's tequila-fueled demolition derby. Meanwhile, the tow truck is whining, hauling off Brandon's mangled car. I'm crunching through glass, thinking, how did my quiet life get hijacked by suburban royalty? But I'll tell you now, by the end of this story, they'll be towing a lot more than a BMW. You ever had a Karen try to bill you for her own kid's screw-up? Let me know, because I can't be the only one living this HOA nightmare. Let me back up, though. 6 months before that car crash, I thought I'd found peace. Real, last chapter of life kind of peace. Name's Derek Morrison, 52, did 28 years as an electrician out in the Arizona heat. Lost my wife, Sarah, to cancer 2 years ago. That house in Maple Ridge Estates? That was going to be my reset button, the project that had pulled me back together. I spent $8,000 on that fence. Leveled every post, built raised beds, made sure every detail was perfect. Saturday mornings, coffee in one hand, tape measure in the other, trying to build something that actually lasted. You know that feeling? Then came Patricia. 6 years, HOA president, queen of the polite threat, married to Craig, who runs city planning. Their son, Brandon, let's just say he treats daddy's BMW like a battering ram for whatever gets in his way. Patricia's weapon of choice? Bureaucracy sharpened into a spear. It started with a tape measure. Derek, I'm concerned about your fence placement. Her eyes never blinked. 2 inches, she said. I was 2 inches over the line. $8,000 on the line because of 2 inches. I had survey documents certified and stamped, but she looked at them like expired coupons. Surveys aren't always accurate. The board will decide. Classic. The harassment started that week. Violation notices, fines for my grass being too long by half an inch, Christmas lights 1 day late. The sound of the mailbox slamming shut with another urgent notice? That was my new alarm clock. And it wasn't just me. Mrs. Stella fined for feeding birds. Janet Rodriguez for hanging cultural decorations. Mike Brennan for Christmas lights visible from the road. Meanwhile, Brandon parked his BMW on their front lawn. Craig blasted the neighborhood with his leaf blower before sunrise, and Patricia's decorative rocks crept further over her own property line every week. December 15th, middle of the night, a sound like a bomb goes off. I'm outside in pajamas and boots, heart pounding, and there's Brandon, phone in hand, swaying like a drunk scarecrow, his BMW wrapped around my beautiful cedar fence. He calls his mom. Patricia shows up before the cops, taking pictures of my property, not checking on her son, not worried about the antifreeze pooling at her feet. Officer, this fence has been illegally positioned for months. Derek should pay for my son's repairs. You ever have one of those moments where you realize this isn't random? She didn't just want me gone. She wanted to make an example out of me. Police report came in. Vehicle struck illegally positioned fence. That little phrase turned my blood cold. Patricia had shown up with a manila folder thick enough to kill a small animal. Every violation she'd made up in 3 months. Photos, measurements, tears for the camera. Officer, I've documented these safety concerns for months. And Brandon, he's swaying behind her, reeking of tequila and entitlement, barely able to stand. 2 days later, Patricia's insurance company called. You owe $28,000 for BMW repairs. I laughed and hung up. They sent a formal letter claiming my fence was illegal and I was liable. But here's the thing. I'd been through Arizona's building codes more times than I care to admit. Only structures violating code make you liable. Spike fences don't count. I call my insurance agent, Maria. She came out, tape measure in hand, notepad ready. 45 minutes walking that line. She looks up, says, "Derek, your fence is 4 feet inside your property line." That BMW was flying. Insurance denied the claim flat out. But Patricia didn't quit. Emergency HOA meeting, December 20th. I walk into that community center. 12 neighbors, burnt coffee, buzzing fluorescent lights. Patricia's PowerPoint, neighborhood safety crisis. Photos blown up of every flaw on my property. Loose boards, a stain on the fence, mailbox color. Her expert witness. Her brother-in-law, Randy, a gym teacher, testifying my fence caused a vehicular sightline obstruction consistent with accident causation. You can't make this stuff up. My turn. Patricia, your son was drunk. My fence didn't move. She cuts me off. The board votes 4-1, $2, 500 fine, fence removal in 30 days. Only Mrs. Stella supported me. Walking back to my truck, Patricia's laugh echoes like a hyena over the parking lot. But here's the thing. I recorded everything. That night, listening to the audio, I catch Patricia contradicting herself. In March, she'd approved my fence at the annual meeting. Now, it's a clear and present danger. Cue the entrance of Frank, retired Phoenix PD, seen it all. He knocks that night, brings black coffee and stories. Derek, she did the same thing to the Hendersons. Forced them to tear down their deck over a setback violation. They moved rather than fight. Frank's got a nose for motive. This isn't about your fence, it's about money. Brandon's DUI is going to cost him a fortune. Patricia needs fine revenue. Frank leaves. I dive into county records. Turns out, Patricia's own fence is 18 inches over her property line, triple what she accused me of. Same surveyor, same legal authority. And get this, HOA bylaws say board members must recuse themselves from family-related votes. Patricia presided over her own son's case. Legally, every decision she made is void. Frank's police buddies pull up Brandon's file. 3 accidents, 2 DUIs, 1 sealed juvenile charge. The family's been using HOA power to cover up Brandon's messes for years. Craig files the complaint about my fence the day after the crash, Daddy covering for Mommy. So, I start building my case. Property surveys, photos, meeting minutes, every violation notice. I call Sarah Martinez, attorney specializing in HOA abuse. She looks over my stack of evidence and grins. Derek, you've got the holy trinity. HOA harassment, government corruption, civil rights violations. The more we dig, the uglier it gets. Patricia's harassment campaigns always sync up with Brandon's legal troubles. Mrs. Stella targeted after Brandon's first DUI. The Henderson's deck demolition after his reckless driving charge. Me after his BMW and my fence met at 40 miles per hour. January, Patricia escalates. Brandon's parties crank up to nuclear at 2 a.m. Violation notices multiply. Anonymous complaints about my unlicensed electrical work flood city offices. Inspector Rodriguez comes out, spends hours looking over every outlet and wire. Derek, your work is textbook. Whoever's filing these complaints is wasting everyone's time. But Patricia's death by 1,000 cuts plan is working. I'm tired, stressed, bleeding retirement savings on legal fees and bogus inspections. Then comes the day Brandon parks his BMW across my driveway, blocking me in. Move your car. He grins. Make me, Grandpa. Police won't help. He's on public property. The message is clear. You can't win. Frank sets up motion cameras. We start documenting everything. Times, dates, video, photos. And then, my neighbors find their courage. Mrs. Stella, hands shaking, hands me an envelope, 18 months of her own violation notices. Janet brings files on Patricia's attempt to fine her for cultural inappropriateness. Mike comes by with his Christmas light citations. In my garage, 8 of us pile up folders, stories, evidence. It's like fog lifts. We see the pattern, Patricia targeting anyone who won't bow, anyone alone, vulnerable, elderly, minorities. Frank calculates, $31,000 in fines. Most of it funding Patricia's new landscaping and Brandon's legal fees. Janet stands up, voice steady. Class action lawsuit. United front. One by one, neighbors commit. Patricia spent years dividing us. Now she's forged her own rebellion army. Frank digs deeper. Finds Patricia paying herself through family businesses, HOA funds for consulting fees. Mrs. Stella finds the smoking gun. Original 2018 neighborhood plans. My fence marked as approved perimeter fencing. Patricia's signature clear as day. The insurance company calls. Brandon's claim denied due to DUI, and now they're investigating fraud. Turns out, every violation notice, every harassment, was Patricia desperately shifting liability, scrambling to cover for Brandon's destruction. Sarah, the attorney, puts the timeline together. Every harassment campaign matches up with a new legal problem for Brandon. This isn't mismanagement, it's racketeering. Patricia ran the HOA as her personal ATM, extorting neighbors to pay her family's bills. We file restraining orders, civil rights complaints, ethics violations. Evidence piles up, videos, financial records, meeting minutes. State investigators swarm the neighborhood. Channel 7 brings their camera crew. Patricia melts down in front of everyone, rants about conspiracies, tries to intimidate us one last time. But the room's changed. Neighbors stand tall. Frank, all cop authority, hands her the arrest warrant. Patricia collapses. The dominoes fall. Craig's suspended. Brandon confesses. The insurance company sues for recovery of every fraudulent claim. Patricia faces federal racketeering charges, civil fraud, personal bankruptcy. The house goes up for sale, her precious Escalade towed from the lot. The new neighbors bring cookies instead of fines. We refund every violation fine, elect Mrs. Stella president, launch the Sarah Morrison Scholarship for Conflict Resolution, and turn Patricia's old spy lot into a community garden. The neighborhood that lived in fear now thrives. Kids playing, gardens blooming, barbecue smoke blending with dumplings. I testify before Congress, help other neighborhoods fight back. You learn, document everything, never fight alone, and sunlight really is the best disinfectant for corruption. Patricia thought she was taking down one stubborn old man. Instead, she taught a whole community how to fight back. The house she used for control, now it's the community center, home base for real unity. I look at my rebuilt fence, strong and straight, and realize justice isn't some big moment in court. It's every neighbor standing up, every lie exposed, every corrupt system rebuilt stronger. So let me ask you, where's the line between defending your peace and letting someone steamroll you? What does fighting back become a duty, not just a right? Drop your thoughts, your war stories, your HOA nightmares below. Let's be honest, we all know a Patricia or two. Because, in the end, all it takes for the bullies to win is for good neighbors to stay quiet. And trust me, silence is overrated.